Every story has a climax, a moment where everything comes to a head, where characters are tested beyond their limits and nothing will ever be the same again. For Demon Slayer, that moment has arrived. With the announcement of the Infinity Castle Trilogy that will conclude the anime, the stakes have never been higher. Fans around the world are holding their breath. Not just because we're getting more stunning animation from Ufotable, but because the emotional and narrative weight of this final arc will define the legacy of one of the most beloved shonen series of the modern era. But what makes this upcoming trilogy so monumental? Why is the fandom buzzing with anticipation? And what exactly are we walking into? To understand the gravity of what's coming, you need to understand what the Infinity Castle arc represents. It's not just another arc. It's the endgame. Everything from the very first episode, the death of Tanjiro's family, Nezuko's transformation, the Demon Slayer Corps' endless battle against Muzan, leads to this. Every character has evolved, trained, suffered, and sacrificed to reach this point. And now, in the twisted corridors of the Infinity Castle, all their paths converge. This isn't just a final battle. It's a reckoning. The hook of the Infinity Castle arc isn't simply its jaw-dropping action or its insane animation potential. It's the way it forces every character to confront who they've become. Ufotable has already proven its ability to elevate source material to divine levels of quality. The Mugen Train arc and the Entertainment District battles are prime examples. But the scope of this trilogy is bigger than anything we've seen before. The castle itself, an ever-shifting dimension created by the demon Nakime, serves as the perfect battleground. Its chaotic structure mirrors the emotional chaos within our characters. In that space, time and logic unravel, and all that's left is resolve, strength, and soul. The storytelling payoff here is massive. We finally get to see the upper moons, those elusive, terrifying elites, go all out. Kokushibo, Akaza, Doma. Demons who've haunted the series for years finally clash with the strongest Hashira. We're talking about long-awaited rematches, surprise confrontations, and moments that will shatter fan expectations. But the most compelling part? These aren't just fights, they're closures. Emotional, raw, brutal closures. Take Akaza, for instance. His battle with Giyu and Tanjiro isn't just about physical dominance. It's a soul-deep confrontation of grief, guilt, and what it means to lose your humanity. Kokushibo's fight is even more devastating. As the brother of Yoriichi, the strongest demon slayer in history, Kokushibo represents a man who chose power over peace, envy over honor. His battle is a mirror of what happens when someone loses themselves entirely, and Ufotable has the perfect artistic sensitivity to bring this tragedy to life, with haunting visuals and heart-wrenching silence between moments of violence. But it's not just the demons who take the spotlight. The Hashira, those titans of the Demon Slayer Corps, get their full shine. Fans have long waited to see Sanemi, Gyome, and Obanai go all out. And they do. Not in small skirmishes, but in soul-shaking duels where death isn't just a possibility. It's expected. The Infinity Castle arc forces these warriors to their absolute limits, both physically and emotionally. We see their pasts, their motivations, and ultimately, their sacrifices. And then there's Muzan Kibutsuji, the monster behind everything. The first demon, the origin of Nezuko's curse. His presence looms over the entire arc like a storm. When he finally enters the battlefield, it's not just about strength, it's about history. Generations of pain, of loss, of human suffering, all tied to one being. Muzan isn't just a villain, he's a symbol of control, fear, and god-complex cruelty. And his final showdown with Tanjiro will shake the fandom to its core. It's not just about avenging a family anymore. It's about freeing humanity from its deepest nightmare. What makes this arc particularly gut-wrenching isn't to just the loss or the bloodshed. It's the growth. We see Tanjiro rise not just as a fighter, but as a symbol. Someone who refuses to lose his heart, even in the darkest place imaginable. His empathy, his loyalty to Nezuko, and his unwavering resolve to honor the fallen, all of that becomes his true power. And in contrast to Muzan's obsession with immortality, Tanjiro shows us that strength lies in embracing life's fragility. For longtime fans, the emotional payoff is tremendous. Relationships we've followed for seasons, Tanjiro and Nezuko, Inosuke and Zenitsu, the Hashira and their fallen comrades, all reach their breaking points. There's heartbreak, there's triumph. There are moments so intense you'll pause the episode just to breathe. The trilogy format is perfect for this. Instead of rushing through the climax in a few episodes, the studio will give each major conflict the time it deserves. And the fact that Ufotable chose to end the series with movies instead of a final season says a lot about their ambition. They know this story deserves the big screen. The sweeping camera angles, the orchestral scores, the silence before the scream. Every frame will be a painting. Every second will burn into memory. This is the kind of storytelling that doesn't just entertain, it imprints. For many viewers, Demon Slayer has been more than just a show. It's been a companion through dark times, a source of inspiration, a reminder that even in a cruel world, kindness matters, that every small act of courage means something. The Infinity Castle arc isn't just an end, it's a celebration of that spirit, and it's a promise to the fans. We will finish this journey with everything we have. And the real magic? It's not knowing exactly how it ends, even if you've read the manga. Because animation changes things. It adds breath, movement, pain, and pause. It gives scenes time to land, to resonate, to hurt. You may know what's coming, but you won't be ready for how it feels. So what can you expect from this trilogy? Expect to cry. Expect to scream. Expect to sit in silence as the credits roll, trying to process what you just saw. Expect betrayals, sacrifices, flashbacks that reframe everything, and character arcs that close with poetic finality. But also expect moments of beauty, of humanity, of light in the darkest hallways of the Infinity Castle. This is the story that will define Demon Slayer for generations to come. Not just because of how it ends, but because of how it dares to end. With heart, with depth, with the full weight of everything that came before it. And if you were someone who followed Tanjiro from the snowy mountains all the way to the blood-soaked floors of the Infinity Castle, then you already know. This is more than anime. This is a farewell to innocence, a salute to resilience, a last stand for something good in a world overrun by demons, real and metaphorical. The Infinity Castle Trilogy isn't just the final chapter of Demon Slayer. It's a reminder that endings can be beautiful, even if they break you. That strength isn't about invincibility. It is about how hard you are willing to fight for others, even when you're afraid. And that's the true message behind this story. Not the swordsmanship, not the bloodlines, but the human heart. Beating, enduring, never giving up. And that's why this ending won't be forgotten. Not by the fans, not by anime history, and definitely not by those of us who've cried alongside Tanjiro since the very beginning.